What's up and welcome. This is me, you, and Switch 2. I'm me, Tom Tate, and you are you, so let's talk about Switch 2. You know the deal. This is your short and sweet Nintendo Switch 2 news podcast. We're going to keep things short, 5 to 10 minute episodes every Tuesday and Friday. Today is Tuesday. It is September 30th. It is early, 6:46 a.m. 6:46 a.m. on the East Coast. Bit of a quiet news weekend, but let's get into it. EA Sports is being acquired for $55 billion in what is being called the largest buyout ever. The buyers here, it's mostly private equity, right? So Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund, the acronym you'll see there is PIF, Jared Kushner's Affinity Partners, and private equity firm Silver Lake. EA Sports, of course, is known for Madden, Battlefield, The Sims, and many other popular franchises. You know, I'm not really sure what this means moving forward for EA. I'm sure it will be business as usual for in the short term, but I can't have a video game news podcast without calling this out. So it might impact Switch 2 eventually as EA titles began to appear on Switch 2. Maybe that's not part of their future plans. Maybe they expand more. We're not sure. Personally, I can't even fathom $55 billion, right? That's so much money. I'm over here having trouble justifying buying a Steam Deck on sale, the lowest end Steam Deck, which is on sale for $320, right? So that kind of shows you where I am. The other big thing to cover is the Tokyo Game Show, which happened last week in Japan. Of course, Tokyo Game Show, this might be kind of the biggest show that they have in Asia, video game show. But you don't typically see the massive amount of reveals and news drops like you used to see at E3 and like what we're accustomed to seeing now at Summer Games Fest and other Jeff Keighley productions like the Game Awards. It's just not that type of show. What you do see is a lot of hands-on gameplay, and we did see that, right? There's a good Go Nintendo article that pulls together a lot of gameplay videos from Final Fantasy Tactics to Hyrule Warriors, Age of Imprisonment. We had Mega Man Star Force Legacy Collection, which flew under the radar a little bit, in Street Fighter 6. I'll link to that in the show notes if you want to check out some gameplay from those games. We also got word of some Resident Evil Requiem gameplay. So this game, of course, is coming to Switch 2. Lowell Bell reported for Nintendo Live saying both on the chaotic show floor of the Tokyo Game Show and tucked away in a conference room, a confident Capcom had Requiem running in handheld mode on the Switch 2. Still skeptical, I sat down for a 30-minute run-through of the same demo you might have seen PS5 footage of from Gamescom 2025, and I came away impressed with what Capcom has managed to do. And then later in the article, he says, I did not notice any dropped frames, and at least in handheld mode, the visual downgrade on the Switch 2 doesn't seem that drastic. Now, this is a full article, and there's a video of him actually playing the game, so you can see the gameplay. You can get his full impressions. I'll have a link in the show notes if you're interested in Resident Evil. In an interview with IGN, this was interesting, producer Masato Kumazawa said that they weren't even planning to bring Requiem to Switch 2, and it really wasn't until they started porting Resident Evil Village over that they made the call, because Village was looking really great. And maybe that's a testament to not just the horsepower that is under the hood with Switch 2, but maybe how easy it is to port games or develop games. So good news for third-party development. I know it's been touch and go for a little bit in the news the first couple of months. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is looking good, or remake is looking good. So we'll keep an eye on this. Resident Evil comes to Switch 2 on February 27, 2026. In other news, there's a rumor that a lot of LEGO games might get Switch 2 editions soon. So if you're a fan of the LEGO games, this is good news. At Zurich PopCon, Nintendo had their own booth, and a few photos of their booth leaked. And they showed a promotion. It was an image of various LEGO games, and they were under a Switch 2 banner. So take with that what you will. LEGO City Undercover, LEGO Star Wars, The Skywalker Saga, LEGO Jurassic World, LEGO Harry Potter, and LEGO DC Supervillains. So we'll keep an eye out on that one as well, too. You know, I'm curious if all those LEGO games come, what the big differences will be, right? And is it going to be performance, just visuals? Are they going to add additional content? We'll see. I also stumbled upon a Trails in the Sky first chapter review. This one was from Ken Talbot over at Nintendo Life. The Joys, a classic RPG revitalized, great characters in rich world, some nice quality of life improvements, 3 musical tracks, all of them great, and the cons, slight performance issues when docked, and story can drag in the opening chapters. They gave it an 8 out of 10. Now, the thing about story dragging in the opening chapters, there was a demo for this game, and I forget what podcast I was listening to, but the podcaster said that specifically. Like, it took so long for the game to really just get going. Personally, I'm picking up Final Fantasy Tactics, the Evil Chronicles, probably today or tomorrow. So I'm not about to go pick up another intense, long RPG, but this is a Falcom RPG that is highly applauded. So I wanted to share this review with you if you're looking for a longer game to pick up and play. To close it out today, I want to talk controllers. There are 3 controllers that I wanted to shout out. First is the Hori Wireless HoriPad Turbo. This is not out yet, but it was revealed. It is an officially licensed Nintendo Switch controller. It comes in a variety of colors. There's kind of a black color that looks like the Pro Controller, Aqua Cyan, Frost White, Shine Yellow, and Ruby Magenta. Some cool looking colors. Hori puts out good stuff. This is probably going to be around $50 to $55. It is a nice alternative to the official Pro Controller, which is very expensive. I do not have a Pro Controller because I couldn't justify the purchase, but I'm sure many of you have one, and I'm sure it's amazing. So here's what's missing that you would get on the Pro Controller. The HoriPad Turbo will not wake up the Switch from sleep. There's no NFC, so there's no Amiibo support. There's no HD Rumble 2, and there's no audio jack. That's kind of a deal breaker for me. I do like to play with headphones, especially playing at night, so no audio jack's a tough one. But what it does have is TMR sticks. Those are very accurate. They won't drift. These are like the new Hall Effect sticks. There's also a ton of buttons to map. And you can, as the name implies, program buttons to be turbo. Next, I want to shout out the 8BitDo or 8BitDo 64 controller. This is a premium feeling, modern style controller that has the N64's 6-button layout. It has a Hall Effect joystick. It has that kind of joystick gate that feels like the original N64 stick. The Z buttons are mapped to 2 shoulder triggers. I bought one and then it went on sale, so I bought another. So I have 2 of these. They register as Nintendo 64 controllers on Switch 2, so it's perfect for playing the Nintendo Switch Online catalog, which I dipped into last weekend. It's not on sale right now, but I bet this will dip back to like $30 to $32 around Prime Day. So if you're interested, maybe favorite that. It's originally around $40. And then another Nintendo 64 controller is on the way. This is the Retro Fighters. It's a Kickstarter right now. It's the Brawler 64 Pro controller for Switch 2. It has Hall Effect sticks. These are really slick controllers. They have Classic Gray, Watermelon, Extreme Green, Turquoise, Atomic Purple, and Smoke Black. They have these magnetic faceplates. It's a bit more expensive though. It's $63. Probably not going to pick this one up just because I grabbed the other 2. But I have their wired Brawler 64 controller for my actual Nintendo 64, the original hardware. And I have their wireless Brawler controller, which I used on the original Switch quite extensively. And I also have their Defender controller, which I use for PS2 and PS3. Great company, worth keeping an eye on that. If you plan on playing a lot of Nintendo Switch Online, this might be a good one. Okay. That's it for today. I want to keep it under 10 minutes. Next time, it'll officially be October. We are at the end of September. We will run through all of the games that we can expect to see next month. I'll have a nice list. We'll go through that. I want to thank you so much for your time and your attention. A kind rating or review goes a long way as I continue to grow the show, recommending the show to a friend, Reddit community, Discord community. That goes even further. Really appreciate it. Switch2pod.com for all the things. I'm planning to do a few things soon that I'll talk more about. I've got a Sunday newsletter set up that's ready to go. I just need to draft the first one to get a feel for the format. It'll be short. It'll be a recap of the highlights from the previous week, and I'll drop some personal hot takes on there. I'll let you know when that's ready, and I have a few other tricks up my sleeve. Thanks again. Listen, it's Tuesday. Make the most out of this week. Whatever you're trying to get after it. I'll be back on Friday with more news. Until then, much love. Now go play some games.